Sal on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Tom?
Not much, Sal.
What's going on? Hey, this is Sal.
I just said that.
Oh, did you?
Yes, I did.
All right, well, here's my situation. I was with my girlfriend, got her pregnant.
Well, step one, you're 24, you have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe
Because you're an idiot.
Listen to your show. I don't know.
Okay, fine. Then you had a baby with her, you say?
Yeah. So we have a 1-year-old right now.
And why'd you do that?
I'm sorry?
Why did you do that?
It wasn't intentional. It was kind of an accident. She was on birth control, and then she stopped taking it.
That's not an accident. That's not an accident.
Well, it's
not an accident.
She knew. She told me she had to stop taking it.
Yeah, and so why weren't you using a condom?
Same old dumb reason. Didn't like the way it feels. We were used to not using a condom because she was on the shot, so we could just have sex without using a condom.
Now you're going to be paying her for the next 17 years.
Well, not her
yes.
directly. I'm going to be supporting the child, yes.
Yes, but you don't know if you're going to be with her for another 10 years, 5 years, 20 years. You don't know.
Right, exactly. I don't know, and that's my question. Now we have a baby. We're not living together. You know, I'm still living at home with my parents. She's living at home with her parents.
Holy cow.
I know. So we obviously can't afford a baby, you know, but we have it, and I love him to death.
What college did you attend, Sal?
I'm sorry?
What college did you attend?
Community college.
Nice.
So I have my associate's degree. I'm planning to go back to get, a bachelor's in business.
You're planning on that. When are you planning on doing that? A plan means you have a date and a time. When will that be?
Fall.
So you have registered and you have put down the registration fee.
Exactly. I actually just need about 1.5 years to get my bachelor's, so I'm basically almost there. So I'm definitely going to have a degree.
In what?
Here's another question.
In what? We'll get to that. In what? A degree in what?
Business.
Business.
Right. I was in marketing for a while. I did some radio advertising, actually. And why do you laugh at that?
How'd that work out?
Radio.
Yeah, that's why I'm going.
I know the sales guys do probably really well there, right?
Well, I don't work in Oxnard like you, so I...
Right.
You were not working in L.A., were you?
No, I'm not working in L.A.
That's not a big business in Ventura or Oxnard, believe me.
No, but the salespeople out here do make about 6 figures, though.
Some of them...
7 figures.
No. There might be a few salespeople making that much. Most of them are not.
Okay. Well, regardless, I'm 24. I mean, do you know a lot of 24-year-olds making 6 figures?
Well, put it this way. Those who went to college, got degrees, studied hard, and then went right into business, some of them do earn 6 figures, yes.
And even that, there's not that many professions where you can make 6 figures right off the bat.
It depends on how good you are and how good your grades are and how good your degree is.
Right. Okay. Well,
I would say there's a minimum of people making 6 figures who go to community college, then take time off to knock up their girlfriend, and then kind of ditz around for a while doing some kind of blue-collar job. A minimum number of guys like that making 6 figures.
Right. Okay. But also, I mean, would you also agree that there is, like, you don't really need a degree to kind of make money? I mean, that's just kind of, I mean, that's
I would not recommend it, and I do not have a degree.
Exactly.
But if I could have gotten one, I would have. If I could have gotten one, I would have. And because I didn't have one, I had to work 10 times as hard as someone who did. I don't recommend that. And not doing it for you is just laziness.
No, and I agree. I am going to admit right now I'm a lazy person. I really am.
Then you're never going to earn 6 figures, pal.
Well, I'm lazy when it comes to school because I'm not a big fan of homework. You know, I mean.
Yeah, but you know what? Life is homework. You know what? Life is homework. If you're in sales, you have to sit home and work on your contact list. You got to work on your tickler file. You got to write up proposals. There's homework no matter what you do, son. It's called adulthood.
And, you know, and that's a good point. But wouldn't you agree also that I can do well without having to go to college?
Not unless you really work 10 times as hard as the guy who went to college. And you strike me as someone who's too lazy to do that.
Right. But what is the bachelor's going to do for me?
Well, you don't even know what you want to be when you grow up, son.
I know I want to be an entrepreneur, and I know you don't need a bachelor's for that.
An entrepreneur with what? What capital are you going to have?
Well,
how do you start a business without capital? How do you start a business without capital?
No, you obviously need capital. No,
Yeah, and what business specifically are you going to be in? I want to hear what business it is.
No, because you probably wouldn't be a big fan, but...
What is it?
Music production.
Yeah, right. Another thing you know nothing about, and where it's a business where they are just laying people off like there's no tomorrow.
Right, but that's why I say I don't want to be employed in the music industry.
And do you live in Oxnard?
Yes.
How much music production do you think is happening in the Ventura-Oxnard area?
I didn't say I wanted to be a music producer in Oxnard. Obviously, that's not going to work. But I'm like 40 minutes away from L.A. So,
No,
I mean,
you're 40 minutes away. No, you're 40. Son, I own a house up in Santa Barbara County. I drive through Oxnard all the time. You're
right.
40 minutes away from L.A. if you leave at 2 a.m.
Okay.
Which you won't be.
All right. Well, then, but regardless, I mean, let's say I move down to L.A. Now I'm in L.A. Regardless, the location, I mean, it's obviously important. But, I mean, that's exactly what I want to do right there. Music
But you know nothing about that business. Nothing. Zero.
I know some. I mean, little.
Yeah, you bought it. Yeah, you own a couple of CDs. What do you know about that business? Specifically, because, by the way, audio production's what we do. Tell me specifically what you've produced.
I work with software, and I have, you know...
Tell me specifically what you have produced.
Music.
What kind of music? You mean on your MySpace page?
No, I don't have anything on my MySpace yet because I haven't copywritten anything yet.
What have you? Oh, so you have nothing copywritten. What have you produced?
What have I produced is music, or orchestral type music. You know, I want to get into like film scoring.
You want to get into film scoring, but you don't want to go to school. Don't you think the best people in that business have degrees from places like Juilliard School in New York or other schools where they teach music?
Probably.
Yeah.
Do all of them? Probably
I would be willing to bet the successful ones have been to school.
Okay. But
you know, music scoring is more than just music. It requires a knowledge of film as well.
Right.
Which you don't have.
I agree.
And you won't get it at a trade school or at the closed cover before striking school for music production.
Okay. So then what would you recommend? If I want to be a big music producer, what should I do?
School.
Okay, go to school.
Yes. Go to school, and while you're going to school, become an intern at a production studio. And that means you have to leave Oxnard, son.
I agree. I'm not, Oxnard. There's nothing in Oxnard.
Yeah, but you're 24, and you're still there with your mommy and daddy. Because you're a loser.
Well, I did have a child, you know, with a...
Well, whose fault is that? That's the essence of being a loser, having a child when you're living with your mom and dad. That's a loser. I mean, if that's not a loser, who is?
Right. But obviously, I mean, I can still do something about it,
You have
right?
dug yourself a big, fat hole.
Right. But which I can still do something about, right?
It's highly unlikely. I mean, you can try, and you should try. But the fact is, now you have to spend money on that kid and that kid's mother.
Right.
And that is going to take away from the money you could spend on books, software, classes, transportation to school, buying a car, living in a decent place.
Right.
All things now you've effed yourself permanently. You can't afford any of that stuff.
But it can be done.
Well, fine. You know what? Somebody's going to win the big spin Saturday night. Do you think it's going to be anybody you know?
I hope it's me.
A guy recently fell out a 46-story window, and he lived. It can be done.
Exactly.
You want to jump out a 46-story window and find out if you can do it too?
No, definitely not.
The fact that something can be done doesn't mean it's likely to be done.
Right.
And you're not likely to do it. Because you're lazy. You said by your own admission, you're lazy.
Do you not believe that people can change? Or
You're not showing any signs of changing?
Well, I mean,
you're talking about marrying. You're talking about marrying the mother of your child, which will only.
I will never marry her.
You asked me that question during this call.
No. I said, as far as what should I do? I mean, the initial question was...
Did you ask that question?
What was the question? No, I'm sorry. I don't want to get you frustrated, Tom, because I know how you go.
Don't be a brick.
I'm sorry?
You said to the screener, quote, I have a kid with, he typed it as you said it. I have a kid with my girlfriend. Should I marry her? That's what you said you wanted to ask me, isn't it?
Well, it was more...
Isn't that what you said to Dee? You did say that. Then you got on the air and said that, too. Now you're saying you would never do it, and you didn't say it. Don't try to make me out to be some kind of insane person. This is my job.
No.
Unlike you sitting there with your mommy and daddy and cranking out illegitimate children, I'm down here with a productive career, and part of my job is listening very carefully to the nuances of the things you say. You said, should I marry my girlfriend? Don't you then later in the conversation start telling me you never said that, or that you would never do it.
No, I said it.
You would do it.
Can I rephrase?
You would do it, wouldn't you?
No. Can I rephrase?
So when you ask, wait, no, we're not. We'll get to that later. When you asked that question, you had no intention of ever considering doing it. Then why even ask?
I did. I considered it.
Right, and you were considering it within the last 11 minutes and 5 seconds.
Okay, I've considered it within the last,
So stop pretending that you would never consider it. That's a lie.
Okay, there you go.
And you see, the problem with losers like yourself is you're living in a dream world. You can't even own up to what you said 10 minutes ago. You can't take responsibility for anything. That's why you're where you're at, in Oxnard with mommy and daddy, with some pipe dream that you're going to become a music producer, with no experience in the business. It's some pipe dream that at 24 with no college education. Community college is not a college education, son. It's 13th grade. You with no real college education, you're suddenly going to be scoring films and doing music production with no background in the industry, no internships, no contacts, no nothing.
You got to start somewhere, right?
You haven't started anywhere. And you're doing it with one hand tied behind your back. You have a kid, you're still having sex without condoms, and on top of that, you're talking about marrying your girlfriend. In Oxnard.
Everything you're saying is true.
I know.
Well,
you haven't started to do anything.
Well, I have, because, I continuously work on my music, and I have had...
you know what? You're working on a pipe dream. I sat home and played the kazoo myself, okay? So what? What have you ever done that anybody has ever bought? What have you ever done for anybody that's been sold? What have you ever done outside of mommy and daddy's house? Nothing. You haven't done... You're 24 goddamn years old, son. Grow up. You're not 17. You're not 18. You're not 19. You're not 20. You are legal age to vote, to drink, to get married, to be in the military. And you're 3 years beyond that, and you haven't done anything. You haven't done anything. At all. Nothing. Except have a bastard job. That's the only thing you've done. That's the only productivity I see here.
Hey, at least it's something. Right?
All you're good at doing is producing illegitimate children. You're producing music? Ha, ha, ha.
Well, that's kind of hard since you've never heard any of my music.
I don't care. Yeah, guess what? If your music was that good... there was one girl on MySpace who had a song on there, and it became a hit record. And that's about it. Everybody else is living in a dream world, like you.
I know. I'll admit that it's a tough business.
It's not just a tough business. For somebody like you, it's impossible. Now, had you followed the Tom Leykis method, had you moved to Los Angeles at 16, 17, or 18, had you gone to a decent school, had you hung out and become a studio rat by hanging around the back door of studio saying, please, can I come in? Please, can I watch how you do things? Please, can you show me some of the things you know? Had you made contact with various individuals in the music and the production industries and the film industry, had you ever set foot on the lot of a movie studio, you might have a shot. But you have done everything in your imagination. You've done nothing in the real world, nothing. Thinking about doing something is not the same as doing it.
I agree.
And you've done nothing. You first have to accept what I'm saying. You have done nothing but produce an illegitimate child, which was manifestly irresponsible. That's the only thing you've produced.
Okay, I'll admit that.
You are now at the same, you're at a worse position than a 17-year-old. Because most 17-year-olds haven't had a baby.
Right.
So now you are 7 years behind the 8 ball with a child.
Like I said, my question to you is it too late?
It's never too late, but you're lazy. And you said you're lazy.
Right.
And because you're lazy, it probably is too late.
Okay.
All right?
I can accept that. I mean, that makes total sense. I mean, anybody who's lazy at any age isn't going to do anything.
Right. You're sitting in Oxnard with Mommy and Daddy.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Tom Leykis.
I would rather lose a testicle than miss your show.
Why, thank you for that.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.